This is a France versus Germany. Kolde being a German player and Tars being a French player. They are bringing Druid, Mage and Warrior in the case of Kolde, and Mage, Warrior and Warlock in the case of Tars. Both players thinking about their picks for a while. This makes a whole lot of sense because in this Conquest format, if you're able to outpick your opponent in the first round, it does give you a slight edge, especially if you have bad matchups. The Druid that Kolde is playing doesn't really want to face off against the handlock. On the other hand, it does have the potential for burst damage from the combo, so it might not be that bad, but if you get a bad start, they are not going to be able to hold on to it. Both players have Mech Mage, so they might be bringing that as a mirror to start with, since Mech Mages are fairly good matchup against anything. On the other hand, anticipating the players to take the Mech Mage means that they will pick something that will suit and counter it. Kolde deciding to go for the Control Warrior and Tars going for the Handlock. This is going to be a control matchup. We have seen the Handlock take it previously. We have also seen many matchups where the Warrior has taken it. So let's see where we end up. The turn 2, Tars decides to skip Ancient Watcher. He doesn't have any activators except for the Sun Fury Protector, and in this matchup, the Ancient Watcher's taunting isn't that important. It's actually a lot more useful for you to hold on to the card. Get those needed curves going your way. Dropping turn for Twilight Drake, probably using tap to drop a 3-mana Mountain Giant on turn 5 as well. We'll have to wait and see. Other cards, Sludge Belcher fits the curve nicely, Sylvanas also. Into a Dr. Boom. If you don't want to play the Twilight Drake, you can go ahead and just drop the Mountain Giant, go 5, 6, 7. Provide the pressure that's needed. Kolde does have the required answer for the 8-8 though, with the single damage into an execute. This would speak for the Twilight Drake's inclusion, because then you would not have lost a big minion such as an 8-8. You would have only lost the Twilight Drake, which is vulnerable to silence and other removal as well. Now this turn 5, it does encourage the Sludge Belcher to be played, or this Twilight Drake if you want to go off the mana curve. Mortal Coil does nothing, all the other minions really don't provide enough pressure. Using a Hellfire early on makes little sense against just a single minion. Using the Twilight Drake off the correct amount of mana, I understand why you're doing that. I do get it, but if you were to have used the Twilight Drake, you should have used it last turn. Because if there's another hard removal, then the Sludge Belcher is a fine target for it. Now you're losing the Twilight Drake again as well. Both executes are out, so that's something that the Handlock will be happy about. But maybe to have seen it used on the Sludge Belcher would have been slightly better. The only downside there being that... No, he would have had to use the 2-2 for the Execute Enabler anyway. So the 2-2 would have been gotten destroyed in any case. Maybe if the Warrior had used the Fire War Axe first to proc it, then I do understand, because the 2-2 could have gotten value from the Slime with Taunt. Not playing a Sylvanas onto an empty board, that's very good. Enabling or disabling the Warrior's possibility to just proc the MC out of thin air, not doing much, is always a good thing. Dr. Boom more than likely going down. The Sludge Belcher won't be able to handle the Shield Maiden, but those Boom Bots surely will be, once it gets removed by this Fire War Axe plus for Shield Maiden combo. Interesting. Defender of Argus played down. So this Sludge Belcher enables the Mortal Coils in your hand. Not a bad play, that. Because now the only thing that this Fire War Axe will be able to remove is the Sludge Belcher. And you actually get one of these Ancient Watchers, which are just sitting in your hand doing absolutely nothing to be efficient. Going for the clear plus a taunt wall of yourself, of your own, excuse me, makes it quite interesting. Not only does Tars run his Mech Mage deck with the Fel Reaver, he also runs Mogor the Ogre in his handlock. Pretty unusual choices. They do make the games interesting, I'll have to admit. But if you were to play Mogor this turn, you might actually be able to skip the taunt. Just go for face or this Armor Smith, but it's not worth the risk. Sylvanas does have targets. Yes, there we go. And the same thought process that I just held goes for Tars as well. Kolde probably wants to utilize the Sludge Belcher just to remove the 1-2. There's no rush for him right now. He can go ahead and Shield Maiden, Shield Slam out the 5-6. Or not even use it, because this 5-6 taunt isn't a threat. If Tars wants to utilize it, he'll just have to silence it first. If he had destroyed the Ancient Watcher with the Shield Slam, then the Armor Smith maybe could have been utilized somehow. In which way, though, I don't see right now. Just one damage to the face isn't worth it, because that Shield Slam can remove such bigger targets than just a taunted up Watcher, which can be destroyed with a Fire War Axe plus Sludge Belcher. You want to utilize the Acolyte Whirlwind combo with a lot of minions on the board with this Armor Smith, but
so many possibilities.
On the other hand, the Warlock hasn't used any Hellfires or any Sun or Shadow Flames thus far, so overextending on the board doesn't pay off. Tar is taking a fair amount of time to decide his action. He's at 10 cards, so he has to play something out of his hand. Dr. Boom, or maybe Siphon Soul. If you Siphon Soul the Sludge Belcher, you can use the Defender of Argus to take out the 1-2. If you take out the 1-2, you can then attack with the Silver Monster Runner and Shield Maiden and steal this Armor Smith. But instead he opts to go for the Boom, which makes the board very, very good for the Brawl. The Warrior actually has a fairly good chance of getting something of his own to stay on the board. Nope! Just the Dr. Boom. And the Sylvanas goes on to the empty board with nothing. Unfortunately for Tars though, the Shield Slam is still there, and the Boom Bots didn't do enough damage. 3-7, almost maximum amount of, in fact. Even if they had done the maximum amount, the Shield Slam would have still been able to destroy the 7-7 minion. Yes, Mogor kill. Well said. We'll have to wait and see if the Kolde plays any targets down onto the board for Mogor to kill. The Sylvanas right away means he doesn't even consider playing the Acolyte Whirlwind combo before that. Because if he had played Acolyte Whirlwind, then he would have wanted to play that before playing Sylvanas, so this Twilight Drake will be unable to kill it off. There's also the risk of Mogor hitting into Sylvanas. Interesting enough. He might just decide to not attack with Mogor anyway. No, you definitely have got to go for it. Even if you proc off Sylvanas, You'll probably have a couple of targets from the Ancient Watcher, and you are still holding onto the Siphon Soul if the opposing player gets the Mogor. Okay, first minion goes where you want it to go. Second minion goes where you want it to go. Pretty lucky there. And this time Sylvanas doesn't go where you want it to go, instead taking out the Sun Fury Protector from the other side of the board. Still, not too bad. Getting some value out of Sylvanas. This Fire War Axe effectively doing nothing. You would have wanted the Sylvanas to hit the Twilight Drake, so you could have activated her with the Whirlwind. In this situation, you're just forced to play more taunt walls between you and the enemy player. With the coin, you could in theory play the Pain Whirlwind this turn already, but it would do nothing because of the fact that this Fire War Axe won't be able to remove the Watcher or the Twilight Drake. And just playing the Acolyte as a vanilla body without utilizing the Whirlwind right now is a bit risky, considering that there's a very real chance that all minions will attack it and get good value, forcing it to only draw one card instead of when it could have drawn two or more. Tapping for the Dark Bomb means you can effectively destroy the Acolyte of Pain or the Sylvanas Windrunner without having to risk the minions to run into them. Hellfire does the same thing, but the Sylvanas will proc, steal one of the minions. Alright, let's see where you want to go. Nope, you want to go for the Acolyte. Like I told you, only giving one card at this stage of the game where you're 4 against 9, or is that even 10 cards? Yep, 10 cards, so maximum amount of cards versus just 4. You might have wanted to have drawn more.
Almost out of time. So many possibilities.
Let's see, and Mogor does his thing, doesn't 9. Hitting what is assigned. Having to waste the Sun Fury Protector in a way because of the fact that there were no other targets to be used on. And he wants the Sun Fury on the board as a potential mind control target. Well, the 4/9 Twilight Drake, pretty much the best possible one you could get, since you can utilize the Fire War Axe to just remove Mogor. And the Big Game Hunter, probably gonna get used against these Molten Giants. Hero Power into another new Fire War Axe, which will be used to clear out the Sun Fury. Siphon Souling your own Twilight Drake, that feels iffy, especially since you're holding onto 2 Molten Giants. You'll probably just want to tap and play one of them, if nothing else. Ah, cheap Mountain Giant, that will also work. 3 mana for the Mountain Giant, you're left with 5. Drop a heal bot, or what else would work? Maybe Siphon, so you can utilize the Sun Fury Protector, at least somewhat. Interesting choice. Now, come next turn, he'll have 3 mana Mountain Giant up. Maybe left with 7 mana. Nope, tapping, he won't be able to play it. Shadow Flame does nothing against an empty board. Alex, going to be used aggressively at some stage. Actually, I think that he should have, that Tars should have really considered playing Alexstrasza this turn as an offensive tool against Kolde's impressive hit point pool right now. You could have still played the 8/8 for 3 mana come next turn. And if you're gonna lose an 8/8, you might as well lose one that costs you 9 mana on a turn where you're left with 7 excess mana and nothing else to do. So, Alexstrasza would have at least offered some sort of utility, instead of just wasting the 7 mana with nothing useful in your hand. This owl might come in handy later on. against, let's see, what both Slash Belchers have already been used. Both Armor Smiths, I believe. Maybe an Enraged Ramash can be silenced with it, but
I wonder.
not a lot of other targets. Used one Mortal Coil, so double Mortal Coiling the BGH is not an option either. The Hellfire is just sitting in your hand. If you play the Hellfire this turn, it will kill off the Big Game Hunter and it will enable the Molten Giants. Or just the anti-heal bot. Yep. No pressure there. Starting to heal up now that you still have the chance. Taurus is taking a risk that he might end up running into fatigue. And when it comes to fatigue, the warrior does have an exponentially better arsenal of handling it with his own hero power versus the tap of the warlock. There's the Alexstrasza play I wanted to see earlier on, coming down this turn. There is no way for Kolde to activate his Shield Slam to be big enough this turn. Even if he plays Armor Smith, enables the Whirlwind from his weapon and from the card. It's just 5 more armor and you're left with 7. With the hero power, that is. And it's not enough to Shield Slam it. Playing Armor Smith, Grom, then activating Grom's attack with the roll from your weapon. Now this is where the R&B call might come in handy. On the other hand, does the Warlock have lethal with the Dark Bomb? Let's see. 19 damage, 11 needed from hand, 8 needed from hand. Nope, not yet. Play both Molten Giants for free. Silence down the Grom. Dark Bomb away the Armor Smith, and do you have Defenders of Argus or... No, I don't think he does. Shadow Flaming, one of the 8/8s, also clears the board nicely. Should have probably actually... Ah yeah, the reason why he didn't do that is the fact that he wanted to use the Alexstrasza as the sacrificial target for Shadow Flame, holding on to 8/8s over an 8/7. And Kolde realizes he doesn't have any way to win the match anymore. And Taurus takes match number 1 as 1-0 with Handlock versus Control Warrior. While we're waiting for the next match to start, I want to once again thank everyone who's watching. And our partners in crime, enabling the Hearthstone.fi community to run this tournament, Fractio. www.fractio.fi. Check them out. Kolde does have Druid, Mage, and Warrior left, while Taurus only has his Warrior and Mage left. And the last match that we saw was a control matchup that took a fair amount of time, but this is going to be a control warrior versus a control warrior, so it's highly likely we'll actually end up going to fatigue. If you like it, I suggest you go grab yourself a cup of coffee, because this is gonna be a long ride. Taskmaster, Acolyte, Deathbite, perfect curve. I wouldn't throw out any of these, except maybe for the Taskmaster. Nope, there we go, keeping all of them. Shield Slam, Shield Block combo, and double Deathbite for Taurus, combined with the coin. While Kolde has the Taskmaster, Acolyte, Deathbite. This Harrison Jones might end up being the MVP in this matchup. Whenever you get to draw 1 or 2 cards against a control warrior, maybe even proccing the Death Rattle from a Deathbite that the opposing player definitely would not want to see. Are always in a good spot. For 2 mana, top decking a Armorsmith, considering using it over the hero power. Do you want to be the aggressor in this matchup? You do want to build board presence before the opposing warrior does, because if you get the momentum going in your favor, it's not going to turn back. The only swing cards being maybe Brawl, Harrison Jones, and what else could you think of that would make or break a matchup like this? Opting not to play the Acolyte of Pain against the Armorsmith is an interesting choice. Maybe he's afraid of Fiery War Axe. That would be bad for Kolde. Opting to play his own Deathbite on turn 4 against the Armorsmith, getting perfect lethal damage, so to speak. There's the first Harrison, getting the better target from the weapons, destroying a Deathbite over just a Fiery War Axe. Also drawing card out of it. Starting very well for Tars. Turn number 5, options of Deathbite into execute or shield blocking into shield slam. Very many options open. Forcing to use an execute on just a Harrison Jones in a control warrior matchup that's very bad. Considering there might be Ragnaros, Dr. Boom, even Baron Geddon, which would be a bigger threat. Yeah, the only reason he had to do that was the fact that he wanted to hold on to his armor. Tars decides not to play down one of his Deathbites, maybe expecting a Harrison from the opposing player as well, which is well expected and truly well thought of, since it would be destroyed. On the other hand, holding on to 2 weapons in your hand is always a bit clunky, because you'll only be able to utilize them during 4 turns altogether. On 6, against the board of a 3-2 and a 2-2, if you play the Shield Maiden, she'll be traded out with existing minions. If you use Deathbite, you're probably going to remove the Acolyte of Pain first to deny the possible card draw of an opposing Harrison Jones with this Death Rattle proc. There we go. Like I told you, the opposing Harrison Jones. In this case, as well, just being a perfect mirror, and when you have the Armorsmith down, you're gonna get the free 3 armor from the opposing Frog. I believe that Kolde only runs 1 Whirlwind and Tars runs double Whirlwind. And especially in a matchup such as this, the double Whirlwind will end up biting you in your own ankle, because there are no good targets for it, except your own minions in certain cases. Shield Slam could remove this Harrison Jones, but is it worth it? You could just Death Spot him away, drop a hero power, consider an execute. There we go. Does he use the execute on Harrison like Kolde did? No, he doesn't. He's willing to take the damage and use Death Spite's second charge to take care of Harrison on an upcoming turn. Kolde in a position where he knows that, alright, Tars will want to get rid of Harrison, which means that there will be a 1 damage Whirlwind incoming, and the Dr. Boom Boom bots would just get obliterated for free. This makes the Dr. Boom not the great play you want it to be. And it is very enticing to play the Acolyte of Pain. If you play the Acolyte, then they might even prioritize that one over Harrison, which gives you 5 more damage output. Completely understandable and the correct play. To hold on to this Cruel Taskmaster only means he wants to hold on to it for the Gramash activator to get that last 12 damage in at a certain point. Because at this turn he could have just used it on his own Acolyte to draw more cards. Guarantee at least 2 cards out of it. And as we see Tar's mouse overing his Baron, he decides to disable the card draw from Kolde by going for that Acolyte of Pain. Click. Big Game Hunter getting value immediately from the Baron. Combine that with a Loatheb. It disables the shield slams and the shield blocks from ever doing much harm. At 9 mana, maybe now the Dr. Boom can safely come down since the Whirlwind effects are mostly gone. You are holding on to the Whirlwinds yourself though, but you can't play them right now, so Dr. Boom Hero ability, or just a Fire War Axe to remove this Big Game Hunter from the board. They both make sense. Shield Maiden Hero Power is the most passive option here. Also leaves Big Game Hunter up. Shield Maiden would trade perfectly with the Loatheb if you played down the Fire War Axe. Definitely not worth to play the Sludge Belcher because of the Loatheb's presence on the board. Fire War Axe no matter what. There we go. And combine it with the Dr. Boom. So my initial analysis was correct in this case. Shield Slam coming down for the 7/7, leaving all of the 1/1s up. It'll be an interesting choice to see whether he goes for face with Loatheb or wants to clear out the boom bots. Personally think that going for face is better, especially when you have the Whirlwinds there. And does it take? Nope. 4 damage to the face and 1 to Loatheb only. So 1 damage means it won't be killed off, but it will still be within range for the Fire War Axe to kill. Tars has the Whirlwinds to deal with the boom bots. Does have the Execute to deal with the Dr. Boom. Acolyte of Pain could also be used to draw more cards with the Whirlwind, since you are 2 cards behind your opponent. And if the boom bots hit your Acolyte, you're gonna get a second card as well.
Hey, speak to me.
There we go. Let's see, with luck, he might get just 1 damage death rattle from the boom bot. Nope, 3. Still 2 cards out of it, not too bad. Soaking up damage from the face as well. Remove 5/2, Fire War Axe, Execute leaves me with 5 mana. And that is a Sludge Belcher turn in favor. Even though Tars is very low compared to Kolde, it seems that he is currently in the lead. He only holds on to these double shield slams, which currently are dead cards, except for the Shield Maiden combo. So he wants to see Kolde play down minions with 5 hit points or less, maybe even 7 or less if he combines it with the hero power. Once again, the order in which the Sylvanas are played is significant. Since Kolde played down the Sylvanas first, it will proc first, and then Tarsus Sylvanas will proc.
I can take the hit.
Shield Maiden into Armorsmith hero power and go for face damage. Since this Sludge Belcher will not kill off the opposing Sylvanas, it's actually a fairly safe play. The downside being that if the Sylvanas gets popped, it's probably gonna get pretty good value. This Brawl could also end up popping her and giving Kolde either a Sludge Shield Maiden or an Armorsmith. All very useful for a warrior to have. And you're not gonna get a better Brawl than this. If you were to attack with Sylvanas into the 3/5, you could only lose, since the 1/2 that pops down in the Sludge Belcher is the worst possible option for you to get. There we go, the worst possible option confirmed.
pain, speak to me.
Tars has a perfect board for a second wall limit. Like I said, in this matchup they are only useful for activating your own minions. And currently Tars is using them perfectly to draw cards, to activate more armor, to keep looking for those answers. So there's the R&B Cal, probably gonna silence the Sludge Belcher. Enable more armor from the slime. Not use the Shield Slime. Interestingly enough, he decides to not use the Owl. Silence the 3-4. Maybe he doesn't consider it as big of a threat.
I can take the hit.
Offensive Alexstrasza into a Shield Slam to remove the opposing Shield's Maiden. I believe that's Tars's next turn. Because if he tarries with using these Shield Slam, they will become ultimately useless. Using the Alexstrasza this turn would also put them at exactly the same amount of hit points, 27.
What now?
Sylvanas.
I have no time for games.
I wonder, maybe he wants Kolde to attack into the Sylvanas, give him this Sludge Belcher. Because otherwise I don't really see a reason why you would play the Sylvanas over the Alex. Other than the fact that these both minions that are already on the board would be able to clear it if you don't want to use the Shield Slam. He should start using the Shield Slam. He's already down to 6 and 18 altogether. It is not looking good for him. I believe he doesn't even have a Brawl which would benefit from the Sylvanas. Nope. Kolde is holding on to the 12 damage burst and has a very, very significant board presence. Tars has to start reacting. If they use Sylvanas to clear out one of these Belchers, yeah, that's a little bit less damage. Shield Slam taking out the Maiden. Could even try an Owl, silence something. Then you can't play the Alexstrasza though. Or the Execute combos. Nothing in here really screams to me that even though Tars has got the card advantage, that he would be the one winning this match. These Shield Slams and the Alexstrasza should have been used a bit more aggressively. And he's already roping. His decisions might even run out of time because the slime that spawns takes a little bit of time to activate. Armor up, more armor. 7 armor to enable the Shield Slam. The same thing that should have been done last turn being done 1 turn late. Take out the Shield Maiden. This 3 damage from the Furry War Axe can either be used for the face damage or to activate the Sylvanas. If you were to use both these minions to attack into the Shield Maiden, that would make no sense. That's just 4 damage when you need 5. The only reason you would want to do that is give the opposing Sylvanas worse options to mind control. Yep, opting to use the axe as a removal for the Shield Maiden. These 1/2s will not kill the Sylvanas unless he attacks into them, and he doesn't. Now, neither one of these minions being a high priority target for the MC.
I bring life.
There's the aggressive Alexstrasza play, which could have come out 3 turns earlier. This Shield Slam now perfectly poised as a top deck to handle the Alexstrasza. Had he played it 3 turns earlier, there wouldn't have been any sort of answers available to Kolde. now Taurus is left with holding just the bone, so to speak. No targets for the Owl, no targets for the Brawl or Execute. Just hero power, Fiery War Axe, go for less armor. Or actually hold on to it. Well, there won't be any Harrison Joneses, and I haven't seen any Oozes being played in the current meta, so holding on to the 2 charges might actually be useful. Against what though? The Cruel Taskmaster? Yeah, Cruel Taskmaster would be removable with it. Big Game Hunter would be removable with it. But you've already seen 1 BGH. I don't think either player runs double BGH. What else would be removable with 3? Acolyte of Pain, but those have already been played for them, I believe. At least 3. Maybe he just wants to hold on to it for the threatening aspect of it. You are holding on to 6 damage on the board in a theoretical fashion. This turn for Tor is probably just Sludge Belcher hero power. No need to destroy the Armor Smith with the Shield Slam because that's overkill. Could also in theory go for the Grom attack in the Armor Smith. Activate Grom and remove the opposing Armor Smith in the process. Since Kolde has been holding on to 2 cards for quite a while now, you're... Oh, there we go. He actually went for that play. Great. Now this 10-8 Grom does threaten in a very, very significant way. The draw on Alexstrasza does basically nothing. You can reset your own health or give your opponent some more health. The Alexstrasza would trade with the Grom on the opposite side of the table, but 1 turn late.
What now?
Taskmaster Hellscream combo, do you want to use it just to clear? No, you don't. Basically, the Alex is the only viable play right now, and even the Alex is pretty poor. Given that you know that Taurus hasn't played both of Shield Slams, has a lot of cards, has a lot of removal at his options.
Out of cards.
There's that Taskmaster he was waiting to get for the Grimash. Still, at 1 card versus 4 cards in their decks. Match is soon to be over. Belcher to protect your own assets while attacking in the face with Grimash. And now he should definitely utilize the Fire War Axe's attack to whittle down the armor of Kolde. There we go. Well played. Had he gotten 2 more armor and a Shield Slam, then Grom could have been removed. He can still be removed if Ragnaros decides to play MVP and go for the direct snipe against Grom. Let's see what happens. Do we get it? Nope. Just did take it onto Sludge Belcher. Still fine choice. Execute will be able to handle the Ragnaros with the Cruel Taskmaster or with the Slime Activator. You want to dump out those cards in this stage and hold on to almost everything you've got on the board. Because the only thing you might be afraid of is a Brawl, and I do believe that Kolde already used his own Brawl earlier in this game to activate the Sylvanas, so... What could he draw? What could he draw that would save him? Well, the Execute. It does save him. Better late than never. 2, 5 damage. Going to 10. Fatigue damage. Will it be significant? Not right now, at least. If you're gonna use the Taskmaster, you want to use it on your own second Taskmaster, because the Owl would just die out of it. And the chances that Kolde would pop a minion that would be useful to be Taskmastered are fairly low. I think that Taurus should just play down the Taskmaster, activate this guy. Downside, yeah, the Death Rattle will kill it. Let's see, do you even want to use the shield block? In a way you do. That's 3 damage on the board, you're at 6. Grom.
To work.
He didn't activate the Grom with the Whirlwind. He activates it with the Taskmaster to prevent 1 damage from him. Would it be significant? I don't know. There's a 50-50 brawl here, or just silence the Grom. I would take the 50-50 brawl first. Because if you get to remove the Grom and be left with just a Cruel Taskmaster, you could clear it out with the Fire War Axe. If you're left with the Grom instead of the Cruel Taskmaster, you can go ahead and silence him. If you silence him and then brawl, yes, you've got the odds of having the Owl on the board, but if you lose the Owl, then you've got nothing except the Taskmaster in your hand. And that's not a position where you want to be at. So this could very well be a significant choice. You're giving yourself a 1 in 3 chance more. So this is 50-50 clear, and that's a 66% clear with the smaller minions left. So you're improving your odds by playing the Owl before hand, but it could also backfire pretty horribly. Playing both minions. Interesting choice. Yep, if you're gonna play in both, you want to play them in this order. And the brawl animation will take too long for him to be able to utilize the Fire War Axe. Going for just face damage. Into Shield Maiden. Wow. This shield block will actually be a dead card in hand right now.
I can take the hit.
Let's see, if we calculate, that's 10. He'll start taking 1 per turn. 3, 4, up to 16, minus 5, 11, 4 to 7. The Tars will live only 2 turns, while a Kolde will actually live for 3 turns with the damage output of 2 plus 3, which is 5, removed with the armor up. Yes, a Kolde will win this match, making it 1-1. There's no way for Tars to win. I think he's calculating, do I want to remove the Taskmaster or do I want to go for face? You want to do the math right now, because if you go for the face, you're going to win. If you go for the 2-2 removal, you're going to lose. Yep, it's pretty much exactly that. Your hero power counters this Taskmaster, but his hero power doesn't counter the Shield Maiden. He should go for the face attack. On the other hand, it buys you 1 more turn, but you're taking higher fatigue. No, you're taking smaller fatigue damage. Oh yes. So 1, 2, 3. That's 6 damage. 8. Yes, you're winning. Kolde is winning, and he's winning even more when he cleared the board this way. I'm sure Tars has already done the maths as well, realizing there's no way for him to win. And it's over. Control Warrior matchups, man, they take a long time. There we go. The absolutely last hit to seal the deal will be coming off here. Tars Kolde, 1-1. A little bit of BM with the shield block as well. Didn't backfire this turn though. And a victory we have. Shortly show you guys the Be Right Back screen while I check out Erik. They are still preparing to battle friends. Perfect timing to cook popcorn, like the loading screen suggests.
Victory or death!
I must protect the wild.
The last match took almost an hour. Wow. We've taken quite a while in today's final. 2 long control matchups going both to fatigue. That's what'll happen. Both players taking their time to think about what they're doing. Which is of course what you should be doing when you're playing for the first placement in this tournament. The winner goes home with 50 euros and lots of fame and fortune. You can call a 50 euros a fortune. Kolde getting a nice coin wad growth beginning. On the other hand, he might not even need to use the coin, like he did not. Deciding to instead utilize the coin at a later stage of the game versus Tarsus Control Warrior. This Armor Smith, a very nice draw against the Druid. The only thing able to remove it right away is the swipe. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they waste, so to speak, the swipe. They're not going to use it. The Pilot Shredder is even better. 4-3 versus a 1-4. If Tars wants to get rid of the 4-3, he'll have to Hero Power Shield Slam. And that's not a big target for you to be Shield Slamming away. In any case. The Acolyte Whirlwind will give you a card, will give you some armor. But it's not as great, I believe. If you want to deny the Shredder from getting value from the 1-4. There we go. He wants to get the value from the Shield Slam.
Where shall I strike?
And when he gets Nat Pagel, he wants to protect it with the Druid of the Claw on curve as a charging minion. Perfect fit to get rid of the 1-4 and protect your Fishing Pagel. This turn probably going to be Harrison Jones, given that the Druid doesn't have any weapons where the Harrison could outshine himself. The downside being that the Druid of the Claw as a 4-3 will be able to very efficiently trade into it. So maybe even just Acolyte of Pain, Whirlwind, Execute for the Druid of the Claw. That could also work. It would use 5 mana and be fairly efficient. Draw you 1 more card. You don't even have to Whirlwind, you can just drop Acolyte if you want. But I like the Whirlwind being cycled here. And they Execute going down. Let's see if Pagel fishes. Yes, he does. Caught one. There we go. Double combo. You have Savage Roar,
no time
double
for
Savage Roar, double Force of Nature, just waiting to be utilized on turn 7. If you draw into an Innervate, we're going to see the first combo go down to the face, and on 8, coin out the second combo. And that would be the game. So if we see an Innervate come up, that would be very beneficial for Kolde. The single 1-2 Acolyte of Pain, unable to do anything even against Pagel, who is a 0-2 body. And when you get the Savage Roar to be popped on 1 more target, that's going to be a pretty big swing. 2 damage to be precise, actually. Shield blocking over the Shield Maiden. In a way it does make sense, because if you get a Shield Slam you can try and pop it. But you can also try and draw cards from the Acolyte of Pain first. Just the Shield Maiden by itself would trade unfavorably against the Sylvanas, so playing Sylvanas of your own is better. Once again, for the same reason as I've said before, the Death Rattles proccing in a certain order. No innervate this time, so no early on combo. If Kolde attacks with Sylvanas into that Sylvanas, the Peggle is going to end up on Taurus' side of the board. Hello, Rob Moraine. Although I do look like Walter White, unfortunately I don't cook meth in my lab, so... I'm just Markus, Olodyn, Koskivirta, and this is the Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 19 finals, where Tars is playing against Kolde. He's actually opting to cycle the Wrath on his own Peggle, so he can utilize the hero power to kill off the mind control Peggle. That's in a way ingenious, because you're cycling to get the cards you're missing from utilizing the double combo early on. Dr. Boom, not what you want to see in this current... there's the innervate. One turn too late. Maybe playing Ancient Allure this turn to draw cards. Or swiping the Dr. Boom. It's a tough choice. If you innervate for the combo number 1, it's not going to be as great. Okay, so he's going to go for the innervate coin combo number 1, remove one of these, transfer the Dr. Boom removal as well. Nope. Innervate coin for 7 mana, of course. Yeah, sorry, excuse me, I thought he had 5 to begin with. Or 6 to begin with, when of course he only had 4 to begin with. The Boombot's doing damage to the face, not a significant thing. Dr. Boom can trade with the Ancient Allure number 1, but Tars can also go for the aggressive option. Try and clear out this Ancient Allure with his own face, utilizing the weapons that are coming up. Maybe even trying to draw from the Shield Maiden. No, sorry, from the Shield Block. To get the slam he wants. Opting to utilize the 4/2 Death Rattle by overriding your first weapon with the Fire War Axe. And ensuring that the Dr. Boom stays alive for the next turn. Unless Kolde plays another Wrath or another swipe. Or maybe even a Keeper of the Grove battle cry. The 2 damage is perfect fit against the Doctor. Putting down the Zombie Chow hero power to go for the face damage. You want as many small minions as you want, or as many minions in particular as you want before you utilize the Savage Roar. That's gonna be 4 extra damage right there. 8 plus 14, 22 with the combo. The 3/2 axe will be able to clear out the Zombie Chow though, so it will only be 18 in the end. Offensive Alexstrasza, perfectly on the curb. Forcing Kolde to think about the other options as well. If you don't handle the Alexstrasza this turn, it might become a serious problem later on. So he's using the combo as a defensive removal mechanism. Makes sense since he's holding on to 2 of them. And if this Keeper of the Grove stays alive on the board, it's 18 damage. You can combine the swipe later on, or just even play Ancient Allure with the smaller minion. Try to base the Savage Roar Force of Nature for an upcoming turn. Keep the Keeper to remove the hero power from the Warrior. This can still swing either way. If Tars gets good defensive cards from the shield block, he can eke out enough hit points to stay out of combo range. This Baron being used aggressively to clear the opposing Keeper. The only thing that will clear out this Baron Geddon right now is the Force of Nature. But the 5 hit points is really problematic for a druid to handle. Swipe hero power does that. You're left with 4 mana, which would be just a pile of shredder. Using a defensive Force of Nature to clear out this Baron Geddon. It's a situation where you're throwing away your second win condition just to stay alive. I don't like it. I personally really do not like that. How are you gonna win as a druid right now? Play the Shade and Ancient next turn. Hope that you have minions left on the board for you to utilize the second Savage Roar, but that's pretty much it. And you're facing off against a Control Warrior who will definitely be able to push something onto the board sooner rather than later. He's holding on to 5 cards already. And those threats it does push down, they will be big. Guaranteed.
What now?
Playing the Fire War Axe, deciding to remove the threat from the board. Let's see what pops down from it. If it's a Lord War Joe or something that with 0 attack, it's not a big threat. Unfortunately though, it's a 3-2 Bloodfin Raptor, which is an actual threat. Forcing to play down the Grimage to destroy the 3-2 minion, just so the combo pieces wouldn't kill him. If he's done his math, he knows that Kolde has already used both Force of Natures and is only holding on to a Savage Roar right now. I personally prefer seeing the Sludge Belcher over the heal from the Ancient Lore right now, because you are so low on hit points that the Grimage is a real threat. Even if you heal yourself a 5, you would still be down to 9 with the Fire War Axe. 6 damage from the hand would kill you. The Sludge Belcher slows down Grimage perfectly. Alright, well, what does Shield block? Draw a Sludge Belcher of his own. Unfortunately for Kolde, the silence is there. So 10 damage plus 3 damage from the weapon pushes him down to 2. And the Sludge Belcher from Tars ensures that any trickery with a Shade of Noxtramas or a Sludge Belcher for the aggression win becomes much more unlikely. Lothep. Will it be enough? Let's see. If he uses the swipe to clear the board with the hero power, Savage Roar. Aggressive Savage Roar right now clears out the 3-5. It clears out the 1-2. Enables you to kill off the Grom with a Sludge Belcher plus swipe. Yeah, Savage Roar here. Clear the Belcher hero power. Use the Shade to kill off the Hell Screen. And swipe the face so you don't die. I think that's it. Hero power swipe. There's no other way for you to stay alive when you're Kolde in this situation.
Time waits for no one.
Well, you can swipe the 1-2 as well, but that's less damage to the face. It's also less damage to your face, so that is understandable. You're left with 6 instead of 5. Does that make a difference? If they're holding on to 3-1, 6 and 5, they would need some sort of direct damage card, like, well, Ragnaros would be lethal anyway. I don't think there's a way for the Druid to come out of this. Nope. Even with the Ancient Lore heal, up to 11 with the Shade of Noxtramas. The Shield Maiden will be able to trade with a 5-5 or go for the aggression to the face. Oh, using the Ancient Lore to draw cards instead of healing. Interesting. This only calls for 1 damage to be coming out of the warrior. But I think he's trying to play for the win.
Back to work.
Had he played for the heal, he could have actually survived this turn. Yep. Could have tried to outlast the warrior. It's a tricky thing to do, but it doesn't cost you anything to try. Tars is now 2-1 in the lead. In this final of Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 19. He will be forced to use a mage, and
You asked for
Kolde decides that he wants to take the mirror match rather than trying to play his druid trying to play his druid against the mech mage. It's actually a very good call. I think the mech mage is seriously favored in that matchup against the double combo druid. You're forced to use this mech mage. Now, even if Kolde wins this, he's going to be faced with the double combo druid versus mech mage. It's not looking good for Kolde. Let's see if he's able to beat the odds. In this here final of Mech Mage versus Mech Mage, as you can see and remember from the last match, Tars has the rather unique addition of having a Fel Reaver in his Mech Mage deck. We'll have to wait and see what becomes of that. Utilizing the 2-1 to clear out the Cogmasters before they get activated. What? Double Fel Reaver. I actually missed the fact that there was one extra Fel Reaver being burned in the last matchup. Wow. Well, I guess if you're going for the full-out aggression, then you might as well have double Fel Reaver. But the curve on this on this hand is awful right now. He's gonna have to waste the Tinkertown Technician as a pure vanilla 3/3 for 3. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. And since there's a mirror entity up, he's gonna give Kolde fairly good arsenal to work with.
Something needs tinkering?
Wow, yeah.
Something needs tinkering?
This 3/2 Cogmaster probably gonna trade away the Tinkertown Technician. The Polished Shredder can be accelerated down. Will probably be accelerated down. And everything else going to the face. No need to use the reversing switch yet either. Add 4 mana, drop your Paladin Shredder. Get ready to wreak some havoc with the Fel Reaver turn 5, turn 6 Fel Reaver, turn 7 Dr. Boom. And if you haven't won or died by then you're basically gonna win the game. Just like we saw in the previous matchup where this Fel Reaver actually made a humongous significance. Just keep an acceleration up with the Spider Tank plus the Harvest Golem, going for face with everything he's got. Kolde trying to outpace his opponent, forcing him to do the trades when Kolde's got the board advantage, and he knows that Mech Mages usually only run 1 Flame Strike, so if Tars does have the board clear, he doesn't have it quite yet. Well, the Trog popping down against the Taskmaster, stat-wise is a better split in favor of Tars, but when you look at this board, I don't think he's coming back from it. 12 damage on the board already, leaving Tars at 4 hit points. He could leave him at 3 hit points if he uses the reversing switch this turn already. Not even the Fel Reavers will be able to save him. Yep, I think this is it. Kolde ties it up to 2-2. That was a quick one compared to the previous control match. Heavens, this was really pleasant. Thank you guys for playing that one. Let's take the last match of the final. I can feel myself already getting energized from that. Aggro matches. Well, yeah, that's what I can say here. So there we go, double combo druid, wow, with double wild growth. Okay, so he might have a chance. Yep, coined wild growth into Swipe. If anything, he's gonna throw down the big game hunter out from his hand. There's nothing in the Mech Mage arsenal of Tars that Kolde knows of. Unless he saw that match where Tars played the Fell Reavers, I don't think he's gonna hold on to the big game. But he did see it, so he knows what to expect. Taking out the swipe, wow, that's ballsy. Considering that against aggro decks, that sort of AoE can be a make it or break it card. Oh, there we go, swipe. Coming back, so it's not that bad. Coining out the first wall growth, we're gonna see the second wall growth come up on his turn. The perfect start for a ramp druid with double combo. Tars, on the other hand, stuck with double mech warper. There's really no reason not to play it against the druid on turn 3. You might lose one mech warper to a wrath, but that's pretty much it. You're still holding on to another one. On turn 3 you can hope that the first mech warper is still alive so we can accelerate the Pilot Shredder out. Or just drop the Tinkertown Technician, but I would accelerate first because you want to make use of the mech cost reduction as much as you can. There we go. Shredder into Blast Mage on 4. Perfect timing. You don't value the spare parts that much yet. Of course you're gonna play the second mech warper first, yeah. Because it means that you can still play the Shredder even cheaper. Providing that pressure against the druid that you want to be doing. Now this is what I was talking to you guys about when I talked about the value of swipe. You could use it on this here board to clear out one of these 4/3s, see what pops up. Instead he's gonna use the Innervate to get more cards by drawing Ancient Allure. By drawing from Ancient Allure. It'll be able to start clearing out these mech warpers in the future turns. On 6, either combo swipe with something or just drop the Sludge Belcher. I'll have to wait and see what happens. Turn 4, perfectly on the curve would be the Goblin Blast Mage, but you might even want to hold on to the Blast Mage and play the Frostbolt to slow down the Ancient Allure before it can start clearing out your minions. Because the Blast Mage has a fairly high chance of proccing damage onto the Ancient Allure, which doesn't benefit you in any way. If you want to go for the 1 damage for the Pilot Shredder removal, that sort of makes sense. But you're still taking a risk that none of them hit the Ancient. The odds are that it's 2 and 2. Well, was not meant to be. You're gonna sacrifice one of the mech warpers in that case. Now the swipe removing Blast Mage. Yep. Into a hero power. Or face damage, I believe. Or if he goes for the mech warper, then that means he wants to remove that later on. Yeah, nope. Go for the face damage. Save as much damage off from your own face as possible, since you are facing a fairly aggro deck. Tinkertown Technician, see what spare part you get. Would be useful. It's the emergency coolant, one of the better ones to combine with the Antonitis. If the opposing player has got at least 1 minion on the board. I see no reason not to play Cogmaster though. You should definitely play Cogmaster over the Fire Blast this turn. MC techs are fairly rare in a druid like this, so there's no risk in overcommitting to the board. Forcing to use the Force of Nature as a defensive card to clear the board from Tars. Taking out this mech warper and this Cogmaster. It is, in theory, 3 for 1, but once again one of those victory conditions gone down the drain. And it is looking very, very good for Tars and his mech mage, despite the fact that he doesn't have any real things to play on this upcoming turn of 6. Only the Dr. Boom from turn number 7 should be able to close it out. If the 4/4 or the 2/3 get removed, in which case, if they stay on the board, then the Frostbolt plus Hero Power will still be lethal. Alright, deciding to use the Frostbolt this turn already to disable the attack from the Hero Power. Maybe force Kolde to use Ancient Allure as a heal card instead of a draw card. The Sludge Belcher from the hand would also be pretty good to handle the board. He's signaling that he might be holding onto a Fireball,
What to do?
which forces Kolde to use the hero ability. On the other hand, if Tarz does have the Fireball, then the Fireball plus hero ability is lethal anyway, so using the Shapeshift doesn't help. Sludge Belcher for the taunt is a must play right now. If he doesn't play the Sludge Belcher, there's no way for him to come back. Ancient of Lore as a heal puts him up to 11, 6 on the board already, 5 damage off. Once again, the Fireball does it. Doesn't matter if he has it or not. But he goes for the heal option, probably because of the fact that the 5/5 body is just that much bigger. I would love to see the Dr. Boom get played this turn and just everything going for the face, because Tars has no problems whatsoever. He's at 28 points. Kolde is at 11. He wants to push pressure onto the face.
Well played.
The battle bots being a big part of the potential lethal already. If they both go for face and deal 2 or 3 combined, that'll be it. Big Game Hunter getting value out of the 7/7. Sludge Belcher being played as a defensive wall against those bots, and the 5/5 taking care of the biggest threat there is on the board. But wouldn't you know it, Fate hands Tars a Fireball, and this is it! Folks, the game is over. Tars from France takes the finals from our Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 19. Congratulations to the winner. That's 50 euros for you with a 3-2 win over Kolde from Germany. Please do tune in next week as well. We will be streaming and broadcasting those matches as well. I welcome each and every one of you to take part in our weekly tournaments. It's open to everyone from the European server. And once again, thanks to our lovely sponsor, Fraktio, a Finnish web company. You can check them out over at www.fraktio.fi. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Consider following if you haven't already. And keep playing more Hearthstone. Have a good night.